Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara, and today's video is going to be my December housing market update. As always, I'm going to be breaking up this video into a few different sections, those being price, inventory, mortgages, local news, and other news. Well, before I dive into this video, I just want to briefly say thank you to everyone for all of your support on my second most recent video. I had shared some things with you guys basically regarding the future of my channel, kind of changing up my channel to not just be about real estate, but also to be about a variety of other topics that interest me. And anyways, basically, if you didn't see that video, I'll leave it linked up here. Check it out if you haven't already. And also thanks to everyone that watched my most recent vlog. It was definitely my longest vlog that I've posted actually ever. It was 30 minutes, which is pretty long for me, but it was really fun to film. And if you're looking for something festive, definitely go check that one out as well. All right, well, let's dive into today's content. Let's start out with price on a national level. Between February 2020 and October 2022, the monthly payment for an average American home increased by 70%, 7-0. According to a Redfin report, buyers need to earn at least $107,000 in order to afford the almost $2,700 mortgage payment required for the average American home. I've been seeing this impact quite a few buyers. This year we've seen home prices and interest rates increase quite a bit. It has definitely put a strain on demand as of late. Something I'm getting asked all the time is how much are home prices declining? And the reality is home prices aren't really declining that much. If you've watched some of my previous housing market update videos, you'll know that I've shared some predictions and projections for 2023, basically stating that home prices are pretty much just going to level out. They might increase a percentage point or two or decrease a percentage point or two, but this brings me to my next statistic, which is one by Redfin, and this is actually the most aggressive, if you could say, prediction for next year in terms of home prices. Redfin foresees that a median home value will decrease by around 4%, which would be $368,000 nationally. This would actually be the first annual price decline since 2011 if this were to become true. Now I want to throw something in here that's pretty important to note. If you're watching my videos and thinking about these national statistics and how they relate to the Asheville market, I do want to say that the Asheville market does behave a little bit differently than the national market. So even if we do actually see price declines on a national basis, that doesn't necessarily mean that prices will decline here in Asheville. Asheville has become quite a popular place for people moving from a lot of different places like California, Colorado, Texas, Florida, New York, etc. And it's also become a popular area for people working remotely or entrepreneurs. This brings me to my next topic, and that is home prices on a local level. This chart shows you that the average sale price in the Asheville region stayed pretty steady comparing this November to last November. The average sale price currently sits right around $455,000, which is about 3.4% higher than last November. The median sale price, on the other hand, is right now around $375,000. This is 7% higher than November of last year. So this might not be surprising that we've seen prices increase from last year, but it will definitely be interesting to see what happens as we go into 2023. Something else I want to add in here is that just because the market has slowed down a bit and homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer, it doesn't necessarily mean that a seller is going to take a very low offer on their home or take much off of asking at all. In fact, sellers are still getting pretty close to list price. On average, homes are selling for about 95% of their list price. All right, moving on to inventory on a national level. Sales of newly built homes jumped 7.5% between September and October of this year. This actually went against predictions that the number of home sales would fall. This next chart shows that an average of 2% of homes were pulled from the market in the 12-week period ending on November 20th. This is partially because demand has dropped, but it's also very likely that it's because we are now in holiday season. Looking at this chart, it's pretty clear that delistings are cyclical. So if you're new to real estate in any way, you may not know this, but spring and summer tend to be the busiest times for real estate. It's when there are more listings popping up on the market, and it's also when there's more demand. On the other hand, during the winter time, the market tends to slow down quite a bit. There are fewer homes popping up on the market, and there aren't as many buyers out there. Something I will say is that if you are a prospective home buyer and you're thinking, well, I know I want to buy at some point, but there aren't really any homes on the market right now, so I'm just going to wait until spring or summer and then start looking then. Well, the reality is, while there may be more homes on the market then, there's also going to be more competition. So if you know that you're prepared to buy a home right now, you're financially able to, and you have the desire to, then it doesn't hurt to start your search now. Because if the right home does pop up and it's winter time, there are fewer buyers out there looking. So you could actually snag a pretty good deal. And if you're thinking about interest rates and thinking, well, if they're going to go down next year, then why don't I just wait? Well, there's always the option to refinance. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so let's finish up some news on inventory. Alright, I only have one statistic for inventory on a local level, and that is that inventory is down quite a bit. More specifically, inventory is down 21.5% compared to a year ago. As I was just saying, this is partially due to seasonality and the fact that not many people really want to list their home around the holidays. Alright, let's move on to some mortgage news. In November, mortgage rates dropped at their fastest rate that we have seen in 40 years. They dropped from 7.08% on average to 6.61%. They have since dropped even more to around 6.3, 6.4%. So it's safe to say that we are down from our highs of around 7% for interest rates, and we're now kind of in the low sixes. This chart will show you some predictions for what mortgage rates might do next year. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that in my December or November housing market update video for last year, I shared a very similar chart, and it mentioned how interest rates for 2022 might reach 4%. I want to say that was the highest prediction that I had seen, and as you know, as I just stated, we hit 7% this year. So again, before I dive into this statistic, just take this with a grain of salt. There's really no one out there that's going to be able to predict exactly what's going to happen, and if one of these predictions ends up being spot on, then there was definitely a degree of luck in there as well. Okay, so taking a look at this prediction, we can see there are a couple different ones shown here on this chart. Fannie Mae is thinking that interest rates might not be down into the 5s until 2024, whereas on the other hand, the MBA, or Mortgage Bankers Association, is thinking that we might see interest rates in the 5s next year, in 2023. Either way, no matter what interest rates end up being next year, the general consensus by everyone is that they will decline to some extent. One last mortgage statistic I want to share is that according to the MBA, demand for purchase loans is down 40% from a year ago. Again, this isn't really too surprising given the fact that interest rates have gone up so significantly, as well as prices. Alright, let's move on to some local news. One of the really hot topics in our town is the vacation rental market. And I know that there have definitely been some concerns around this, with so many people having vacation properties here and renting them out. As many of you may know, Asheville City has actually implemented some rules around this, where you cannot have short-term rentals in the Asheville City limits unless it is your primary residence. And if you're interested in some more of the specifics around that, I'll leave a link to my rental video here. So the statistic I want to share is that the number of vacation rentals has officially eclipsed hotel inventory for Buncombe County. I think that this is really interesting, and I do not think that this is only happening in Asheville. I know that Airbnb has been stirring up the hotel industry for quite some time, and I know that myself personally, whenever I travel, I tend to find Airbnbs and go with those as long as it makes financial sense, but most of the time it does. Because as all of you know, with Airbnbs, you frequently get your own space, you can get a kitchen or maybe a kitchenette, maybe you have a view or something else that's kind of unique about the property. And I think that Airbnb really isn't a bad thing. But I do, of course, think that there are some restrictions like Asheville has implemented that are necessary to make sure that an area doesn't become completely overrun with vacation rentals. I'm curious though, when you guys travel, do you tend to stay more in a private vacation rental like an Airbnb or VRBO, or are you staying in more of a hotel? Definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know. Well, that is actually the last statistic that I have for today's video. I know that I usually have something in the other category, but I didn't really find anything for this month. It's a bit of a lighter month on statistics. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm not sure, this may be my last video for the year. I possibly am putting out another one next week, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time to film it or not. But if this is my last video, I just want to say I wish all of you a very happy holiday, and thank you all so much for supporting my channel this year. It has grown so much. I think at the beginning of the year I only had about 150 subscribers, or 160, right around there. And so the fact that it has grown to like 760 something is pretty fantastic, and I'm pretty happy about it. So I'm really excited to see what next year brings, and thank you so much for being here along this journey. Well, if you are not already subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment, share this video with your family and friends, and I will see you guys very soon in the next one.